Howdy neighbors, David here. And today on Boondock Stallions, I'm coming at you a little late because I wanted to watch the episode twice just to make sure that I caught everything that I could to do this review, reaction, and a little bit of theories. So before we get started, go ahead and hit the like button. If you haven't already, subscribe, turn on that notification bell, hit me up in the comments. I've left the description, a link down in the comments if you haven't seen how I think that the Fantastic Four was set up in episode 4 of, surprisingly, episode 4, Fantastic Four set up, boom. Check out the link, watch the video, set up episode 4 of WandaVision. So here we go. Now, first of all, I was really happy with this episode. Now they've gone on and we're getting to see everything going on in the show and in the real world at the same time so that we can react with the audience. Let's see. Agnes has been breaking the wall a little bit. Very beginning of the episode, she started by, so we're taking this from the top. She was literally asking for directorial advice from Wanda like she was in a play or a live action sitcom, and it was very confusing. So when Vision says later on in the episode that he thinks that whatever Wanda's doing started subconsciously at first, and she's only just now become aware of what she's done, I think that that's actually very legit. That's what's happening here. It's like Wanda's realizing what she's done, and she even comes out later on in the episode from the Hex. Also, they called it the Hex. They actually called out the fact that YouTubers all over the place have been theorizing about the hexagonal shapes and the fact that the little enclosure that Westview is in is a hexagonal shape. So they mentioned that. They also brought up the fact of answered the question of Wanda's accent. I thought that was nice of them. When Wanda came out of the Hex, she was speaking in her normal Wanda Maximoff voice. You could clearly hear her accent on her. So what I think is happening is it's while she's in the sitcom that she's going full American. She's doing a voice. She's doing a character for the show, and she's based it on American actresses of the time for sitcoms of the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. And now it looks like we just did the 80s, so we're going to probably move into the 90s. I know I saw in the preview there for next week's episode there was some Modern Family references, so I'm really looking forward to that. I'm a big fan of that show. Let's see. The kids were aging really fast, and they're real. They actually said that they were real, even though Wu directly contradicted that by saying that she could just be manipulating your minds and making you think that the kids are real. But when they fly the drone / helicopter thing into the Hex and it's showing Wanda and the kids, the kids are being picked up by the other camera. Wanda's not standing there completely alone. So that leads me to believe that the kids are in fact real. Which also brings me back, and I wish I'd remember to leave the damn link in the description for this one too, but go to my channel, check it out. I did a link on how I think Mephisto is actually the villain for this season, or at least working with Wanda. I believe that when Vision died, Wanda went into a place of deep, deep grief. I mean, she's lost everything. She's lost her parents, her home, her brother, her lover, even a lot of her new friends that had become her surrogate family in the Avengers have all died. She's in a very, very dark place. And being in that dark of a place, she'd be prime choice for Mephisto to cut some kind of deal with. And I think the deal would be for Vision and possibly these children. I do recall a comic book line where Mephisto did in fact take over the body of one of Wanda's children. I wish I could remember which one it was. Sorry, I'm old. Forgive me. But they could be doing something similar to that here. They're also taking a lot from the House of M when Wanda created a whole completely different reality and made everybody happy and fulfilled a lot of their own fantasies for what was what they'd wanted. And I think Wolverine was probably the only one that was actually self-aware. Shout out to the Carlin brothers, because I was watching them last week and they'd mentioned that they theorized that Wanda had Vision's corpse. And in this, we actually see Wanda break into Sword headquarters and steal Vision's corpse. regardless of the fact that Vision had a living will, he didn't want to be anybody's weapon. He didn't want anybody to have anything to do with his body. He basically wanted to be disassembled, disintegrated, and destroyed and forgotten, buried in a hole, and hope nobody would ever find it. So I think that's um, going to lead into the fact that they are bringing him back to life. Vision is also aware that something's not right. He's scared. He even said it himself. He's scared. He doesn't remember any of his past. He doesn't know who he is. He doesn't know what he is. And he doesn't know any of the before him and Wanda were married and living on this sitcom, basically saying he has nothing pre the 9 days that he's been living on this sitcom with her. So he's aware. He talked to that one guy in the office, broke through to his actual consciousness, and found out that he's being held against his will and is trying to reach out to his family and is being held back by Wanda from reaching to his family. And Vision wants answers. He wants to know exactly what's going on. I mean, we all do, but I don't think Vision's going to like the answer that Wanda's going to give him. I really don't. Because either way you look at it, even if she made a deal with Mephisto, even if she's not made a deal with Mephisto and is doing this on her own, she's keeping an entire town hostage and creating this fictional life for them to live at the expense of an entire town. Vision is really not going to go for that once he is fully aware of everything that is happening to him. So he may only be around for this show and then not in any more movies. Sorry, kick that. My fault. So Monica Rambeau, they were discussing Captain Marvel, and she turned a very cold shoulder to the idea of Captain Marvel when they were discussing would Wanda be strong enough to destroy Thanos. And everybody believed that Wanda was actually strong enough to do it, but the blip happened, and so she was vanished before she could actually fight Thanos. And then they mentioned that Captain Marvel could actually, in fact, have challenged him. So it was at this point that Monica turns around and says, well, we're not talking about her. And you got to wonder if Monica's got a lot of resentment for all the years that Captain Marvel's been gone, hasn't come back, was back, didn't look for her, didn't look for her mother. Because honestly, her mother would have been alive. It would have been the last thing she would have done. It would have given her mother the chance to say goodbye permanently to a friend whom she thought was coming back. Even though, I mean, I guess depending on the timeline and where Captain Marvel 2 is set, they could do something with Maria Rambeau. I don't know. I don't know where it's going to pick up. I don't know if it's going to do like Captain America and just jump into that was the movie set in the past. This is the movie set in the present, and just move on from there. So Wanda and the kids find a dog. The kids find a dog, and Wanda says that they can't keep it, and they say because they're too young, they need to be older, maybe 10 years old. The kids choose at this point to age themselves up to 10 years old so that they could keep the dog. Later in the episode, the dog runs away when the helicopter breaks through the hex and is talking to Wanda and sees the kids, and is later found by Agnes dead after eating too many leaves and dying. And the kids, devastated, heartbroken, are crying and begging their mother to fix it. They are begging her to fix death. And then Wanda gives them this very, very beautiful, heartfelt speech about how you can't change death. And let's see, I wrote this down a little bit. Let's see. There are rules to live by, and some things like death can't be reversed, no matter how sad it makes you. It was a very beautiful, hypocritical speech because all the evidence is pointing to she literally did that. She literally went to the saddest that she could be and decided she wanted to change death and brought Vision back. And spoiler warning, she also did this with her brother. Now, this is where it got interesting because there were rumors that Evan Peters was going to be on the show, but we were speculating that he might be an older version of Speed or possibly just any other random character, maybe even a new superhero playing a different character than what he's already been known for. But then it occurred to me, this is leading into Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. And if he's in the multiverse, then something had to start the blip into, I don't know why I said blip, but something had to delve them into a multiverse event. And that could be what Wanda has done, because she pulled in her brother and they called it recasting. But what she did is she wanted her brother so much that she pulled him into existence this one. She didn't even have to bring him back to life. She literally just pulled him from another universe. So this could be a link into the X-Men crossing over with the Avengers. And this makes me ask the question, are they just going to bring in the already established Fox X-Men to the Avengers MCU universe? Or will they recast everybody else with the exception of Peter/Pietro, because Wanda brought him in specifically around them? Because there was a rumor that they were going to recast most of the X-Men, Professor X, Magneto, and everybody, and follow more what was traditionally inspired. Now, I'm to understand that Stan Lee and Kirby were basing Magneto and Professor X on Martin Luther King and Malcolm X, two men fighting for the same thing on opposite ends of the spectrum. And this is a very beautiful metaphor analogy for the two real people versus the two comic book characters. And these are amazing parallels, and I was actually looking forward to them doing that recast for the movies. But I mean, would this mean we get James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender in the MCU? Are they going to bring in Gandalf and Captain Picard? I'm not sure. I don't know. It's an interesting question. I'd really like to know what you think. Let me know down in the comments. Till next week, I'm putting together a video on Sunday night for Monday morning's release, because I've recently bought all of the Superman movies on Blu-ray. And when I say I bought all of them on Blu-ray, I mean there's Superman the movie, the theatrical cut. There's Superman the movie, the extended cut, which is the TV cut, which has 40 minutes of additional footage added to it. And then there's Superman the movie, the special edition, the extended director's cut by Dick Donner, which ties into his Dick Donner cut of Superman 2, which I also have along with Superman 3, 4, and Superman Returns. But I was rewatching Superman 1, and it occurred to me that Lex Luthor is probably the worst villain in the history of superhero movies, and I can prove it with science and logic. So, until next time, be excellent to each other and party on, dudes.